On this episode, I'll share some advice that helped me on one of my saddest days in college. You're listening to A Little Debbie. It's a bite-sized version of the longer podcast, Upcycling with Deb. I'm your host, Deb Colameta. I wrote a #1 best-selling book called Best Offer, Best Life. And you can get in touch with me and find out more information about the classes I offer, webinars or debinars by going to my website, thedebsite.com. When you're having trouble saying goodbye to some of your things, in this episode, I'll share advice with you that I got over 20 years ago that I still think applies today. I loved my college room in my college apartment at Syracuse University. It was awesome. I loved my roommates in the apartment. We had great neighbors on either side, wonderful friends in the upstairs apartment. It was ideal. In my podcast episode about loving your tiny house, I talked about the not so good aspect of it. It was typical dumpy construction, no insulation, none in Syracuse with the harsh winters. And oh my gosh, that impacted our sky-high heating bills. But we had it fixed up so cute. And I made my first and only set of curtains. I did it to save money, but it probably ended up costing me about 10 times more than curtains from the store. And I used up my entire Thanksgiving break trying to figure out how to sew them. And that was another lesson. Heavier weight curtains really do help reduce the feeling of a draft when you have old windows. Dad was right. Again. And when I returned to campus many, many years later, I saw those same curtains that I had made hanging in the window. And I felt proud that my only sewing creation lived on. And I was also a little grossed out, but I digress. So I loved the freedom of my apartment. I could drive to the local food store, walk quickly to any class on campus, visit with friends we still keep in touch with. In short, I didn't want to leave. I sat in my room on one of the last nights during all the graduation festivities, feeling a sense of loss and finality that graduation produces. And I cried to my mom, "Mom, how am I going to leave this room, this apartment, this school?" And as she always does, she knew exactly what to say. "But Deb, look at the flip side. If you always stay in this room, how are you ever going to live in your dream house if you're still living in this room?" And just like that, my whole perspective shifted in one sentence. I was able to enjoy the graduation festivities, though it was bittersweet for sure. And notice that she said dream house and not mega mansion. Your dream house can be any size. And I'm still believing on that mega mansion, but it can really be wherever you're living. But hers is a sentiment that I come back to whenever I'm selling something. You can't experience the new without letting go of the old. Physical space or mental, this applies. I just sold a patio set in record time, by the way, episode coming soon on that. Wow, that was like a buying frenzy, selling frenzy. But I was feeling sad about letting it go, and I had trouble shaking that feeling. But then I thought, it just doesn't suit my vision for our backyard makeover. We just did a major cleanup of our yard, and we paid top dollar for a disposal service. And truth be told, we liked this patio set, but it was brown and my house is gray, and it always kind of bothered me that they didn't really coordinate better. But when we bought it, it was on sale. We were on a budget. It's a great example of selling something in great condition that we had made use of for many years. But we were ready to move on. And this patio set was not appropriate for the trash. Also, we had no reason for a table outside. We don't eat outside. I try to get us out there, but man, those flies come out of nowhere. So we end up eating inside, even when we barbecue. Why have a gigantic dining table outside when we don't eat outside and when it takes up space that we don't really have? So that table would prevent us from getting a smaller table that we really want, something much better suited to the size, or maybe a tiki bar or a cocktail table. But we couldn't have a comfy patio set or any extras if we were working around a big clunky brown table set that was too big for the space. We had to create room. How can we have our dream patio set, gray with teal accents, if we're still stuck with the brown one? It's time to sell it to someone who would appreciate it more. And it's glass. We really can't store it without risking breaking it. And it's another year older. It's just physically too big to move and store in the garage. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a new patio set to order. So, what are you looking to create more space for in your life? And how can online yard sales help you to achieve that dream? It's so important for us to think about what we have and what we can let go in order to make room for the new. Let go of the old and make room for the you.